really quickly, we're gonna quiet it down just a little bit, and I want everybody in this audience to think about waking up on November 9th, and I want you to imagine having to ask yourself if you did everything you possibly could to make history this election. That's all from me. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm excited to see you doing voter registration and GOTV shirts in the future. Go green and vote blue.
Yeah, Mike!
Brothers and sisters, my name is Mike Huerta. I stand between you and Bernie Sanders. I'm a member of UAW Local 602 here in Lansing. I'd like to welcome everybody to East Lansing. I live in Hazlet, right around the corner. I'm a first-generation American. My mother was born in Mexico. She came to the United States in search of a chance at the American dream. Something better for herself, for her family. She went from working in the fields picking fruit to having her 7 children earn 7 college degrees between them, including 3 from Michigan State University. She is no doubt an American success story. I'm happy to let you know that she recently moved to East Lansing, and Aaron, on Tuesday, demanded that I help her register to vote for November. I'm also a 3rd-generation auto worker. My grandfather and father both worked and retired from General Motors. I've worked at General Motors in Lansing for about 19 years. 2009 was a tough year for most of us, but for me it brought an indefinite layoff. That means management actually hands me a pink slip and tells me, we don't know if you're going to come back to work. We don't know when you'll come back to work. The uncertainty struggled in our family. My wife, we had a 2-year-old at the time. More than 8 months later, after President Obama, the United Auto Workers, Senator Sanders, and Senator Hillary Clinton helped usher in the bridge loans that made the GM recovery possible, I returned to work again. Those 8 months were hell. Watching U.S. politicians argue against saving U.S. jobs on TV every day was brutal. But I will never forget also watching Senator Sanders and Senator Clinton fight alongside the UAW for thousands of us that were unemployed, worried, sitting on the edge of our seats, wondering what would happen to our livelihoods, what would happen to our families, what would happen to our communities. In the end, I'm happy to report that my plant, Lansing Delta Township Assembly Plant, is running at maximum capacity, 3 shifts, 6 days a week. No doubt, another American success story. I've been a supporter of Senator Sanders for years. I've campaigned and voted for him during the primary based on his tough stance on trade issues, progressive stance on the environment, women's health issues, campaign finance reform, LGBT rights, college affordability, issues that affect working families, and his strong support of labor issues. In this election, we face a stark contrast. One candidate that would have demonized my mother, separated our family, and another that would have allowed her to achieve the American dream. In this election, we have a candidate that would have let GM go bankrupt and allow Lansing and much of Michigan to be decimated with the demise of the auto industry. And the other candidate actually fought like hell to save us. It is because of these issues that I now join Senator Sanders in support of Hillary Clinton. There is only one candidate that can carry the torch for these issues, and that's Hillary Clinton. I now have the unbelievable honor of introducing our friend, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Coming out. And Mike, thank you very much for that great introduction. What Mike said is exactly right. What this campaign is about is not a personality contest. It is not voting for our high school class president. We are voting for the President of the United States, the most powerful elected position in the world. And it is incumbent upon us to take a hard look at the issues that impact our lives. This campaign is not about Donald Trump. it is not about Hillary Clinton. It is about you and your families and the future of the middle class in this country. So our job is not to demonize anybody. It is to take a cold, hard look at the real issues impacting our country. Let me start with one right here on Michigan State. Secretary Clinton and I believe that we need the best educated workforce in the world. We believe that you are the future of this country. And we believe that it is absolutely absurd that hundreds of thousands of bright young people who have the qualifications and the desire cannot go to college for one reason: their families lack the money. And she and I also believe that it is totally crazy that millions of people have left college deeply in debt, $50,000, $100,000 in debt, and they are paying off that debt for decades, sometimes at interest rates of 6, 8, 10%. And that is why Secretary Clinton and I believe that we must make public colleges and universities tuition-free for the middle class of this country. And that we must lower student debt for those millions of people who are carrying that debt today. Now people say, well, Bernie, it's a nice idea. Public college and universities tuition-free. It's expensive. How are you going to pay for it? Well, Donald Trump just told us last week how we're going to pay for it. We're going to make the billionaires start paying their fair share of taxes. Now, one of the issues that I worry about very much, and I want all of you to think about, what democracy is about is one person, one vote. You get a vote, you get a vote, you get a vote, you get a vote. Now, we can disagree. That's what a democracy is about. Respect other people's points of view. Democracy is not about billionaires buying elections. And I worry very much that this country is moving toward an oligarchic form of society where a handful of billionaires not only control our economy, but they control our political life. No one can tell me that it makes sense that billionaires like the Koch brothers or Sheldon Adelson are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to buy elections as we speak today. That is not democracy, that is oligarchy. I was with Secretary Clinton last week in New Hampshire, and she told me to tell you that if she's elected president, within the first 100 days of her administration, she will bring forth a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. That is Secretary Clinton's view. That is not Donald Trump's view. Secretary Clinton understands that the middle class is hurting today, and we got millions of workers out there making $8, $9, $10 an hour. You cannot make it on $8, $9, $10 an hour. And that is why she believes, and I believe, that we've got to raise the minimum wage in this country from a 7.25 federal minimum wage to a living wage. And that's not Donald Trump's point of view, that's Hillary Clinton's point of view. Hillary understands that in the year 2016, we have got to end the disgrace of women making 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. Hillary Clinton understands that we need to create millions of good-paying jobs in this country by rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, and she's got a plan to do that. And here is a very profound difference between Secretary Clinton and Mr. Trump. I am a member of the U.S. Senate Committee on the Environment and on Energy. I have talked to scientists all over this country and in fact all over the world. The scientific community is virtually unanimous in telling us that climate change is real, it is caused by human activity, and that it is already causing devastating problems in our country and around the world. Donald Trump believes that climate change is a hoax. He thinks we should expand the use of fossil fuel. For the sake of our children and grandchildren, we have a moral responsibility to make sure that the planet that we leave to them is a healthy and habitable planet. We need to listen to science, to respect science, not reject science. Now, I'll tell you my major concern about Trump. It's not just his disastrous economic policies and his desire to give huge tax breaks to billionaires. It is not just his rejection of science with regard to climate change. It's not just that he wants to throw 20 million people off of health insurance. It's not just that he doesn't want to overturn Citizens United. What I am very fearful about is that for the first time in the modern history of this country, we have a candidate for president who is running for president on a policy of bigotry. All of you know that over the last several hundred years, we have had to fight discrimination at every level. We have had to oppose what the terrible things that were done to Native Americans, slavery, racism, sexism, homophobia. Our job is to bring people together, not to allow Trump to divide us up. We should be proud as a nation of our diversity. That's how we are strong. And I will not stand by and allow Trump attack our Latino brothers and sisters, our Muslim brothers and sisters. When you run for president of the United States, there has got to be at least a threshold of dignity. And that means that you treat women and all people with respect. We cannot have a president who insults women in the most coarse manner. The things that he says, I would be embarrassed to say before you. I've got it here in my remarks, but I'm not even going to say it because I'd be embarrassed. This is the year 2016. We treat each other, black and white, gay or straight, Latino, Native American, Asian American. We treat all of our people with dignity. Last point that I want to make. All of you know, any of you that have followed history, understand that the real changes that have taken place in our society, whether it's the fight for workers' rights, and Mike just talked about his role in the UAW, whether it is the struggle for civil rights and the fact that people over decades, hundreds of years, fought to end racism in this country. Some went to jail, some died. The struggle for women's rights. Women who went to jail went on hunger strikes to say that in America, women will not be second-class citizens. The struggle for gay rights, so that our gay brothers and sisters have the right to marry whomever they want, regardless of gender. All of those struggles and all of those victories took place. It occurred because millions of people stood up and fought for justice. We have accomplished a lot in this country that we should be proud of over the last many years. No question to my mind that we have come a long way in fighting racism, sexism, homophobia. But today we have one huge struggle remaining in front of us, and that is the economic struggle. And that means that we should not be living in a nation which has more wealth and income inequality than any other major country on earth. We should not be living in a country where billionaires don't pay taxes while veterans sleep out on the street. We should not be living in a country with an inadequate child care system and young people leaving school deeply in debt. This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. Problem is, almost all of the new wealth is going to the people on top. Our job in the next 5 weeks is to elect Hillary Clinton as our next president. But our struggle doesn't stop on election day. Our real struggle is not only to elect Hillary Clinton, but it is to transform America. And the only way we do that, the only way we defeat the unbelievable power of Wall Street and the drug companies and their lobbyists and their campaign contributors, the only way we do that is when millions of people, young people, working people, senior citizens, stand together and say enough is enough. This country, our economy, our political system belongs to all of us, not just the 1%. My friends, thank you for being here. Welcome to the political revolution. Let us reclaim and transform America. Thank you very much.